In the beginning, they were creatures of pure light, messengers of the divine, guardians of cosmic order. But when pride ignited rebellion, everything changed. The Great Fall tells the chilling story of how angels, once radiant and righteous, transformed into the darkest beings mythology has ever known. Today, we unravel the forbidden history of their descent, what sparked their rebellion, how the heavens trembled, and why these fallen beings became the demons that haunt human belief to this day. Prepare for a journey into ancient lore, celestial conflict, and the origins of ultimate darkness. This is the Great Fall. The Great Fall, when angels became demons. The story of the Great Fall, the cosmic moment when angels transformed into demons, is one of the most influential myths in human religious imagination. It lies at the crossroads of theology, mythology, and ancient cosmology, shaping how countless civilizations understood evil, rebellion, and the unseen world. The concept did not originate in a single moment or text, rather, it evolved across cultures, scriptures, and centuries. The idea of a celestial rebellion appears in Judaism, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, Mesopotamian law, and even Hellenistic philosophies. In each tradition, though details differ, the core theme remains the same: beings of light defied the divine order and fell into corruption, becoming forces of darkness. This essay explores the Great Fall through its mythological origins, scriptural development, theological interpretations, and its lasting influence on demonology. It also examines the symbolic meanings behind the rebellion of angels and the transformation from heavenly glory to infernal exile. The origins of the Great Fall myth. Although the idea is often associated with Christian tradition, the myth of heavenly rebellion is older than the Bible. Ancient Near Eastern cultures imagined divine councils, populated by gods or semi-divine beings, who could rise against the supreme deity. These myths shaped later monotheistic understanding of fallen angels. 1. Mesopotamian precedents. In Sumerian and Akkadian mythology, the gods were not always perfectly obedient. Some rebelled, challenged authority, or broke divine laws. One example is the Anunnaki, who served the sky gods but occasionally revolted. Another is the story of Kingu in the myth of Tiamat. Kingu, originally loyal to Tiamat, received the Tablet of Destinies and became her champion in a divine rebellion. Although this is not a story of angels falling from heaven, the motifs of cosmic warfare and heavenly betrayal strongly influence later formulations of celestial rebellion. Mesopotamian culture also had lesser spirits, Utuku, Lilu, and Asalu, beings who were once part of the divine order but became malevolent through disobedience or misfortune. These concepts set the groundwork for the idea that supernatural beings could fall from grace. 2. Zoroastrian influence. Zoroastrianism, one of the oldest monotheistic religions, had a profound impact on Jewish and Christian demonology during the Babylonian exile. It introduced the idea of a cosmic battle between light and darkness. The supreme god Ahura Mazda presided over the world of light, while Ahriman, Angra Mainyu, led the realm of darkness. The Devas, once divine beings, became demons when they followed Ahriman's rebellion against the light. This dualistic worldview strongly shaped later ideas of angels becoming demons through moral corruption and rebellion. 3. Early Hebrew traditions. In the earliest Hebrew texts, angels were messengers of God, but the idea of them rebelling appears only in later writings. There are hints of celestial rebellion in texts like Genesis 6 verses 1-4, which speaks of the sons of God taking human women and producing the Nephilim. Psalm 82, which depicts God judging other divine beings for injustice. Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28, which describe the fall of proud kings using imagery later interpreted as references to fallen angels. Originally, these passages were metaphorical or mythic, not theological doctrine. But over centuries, they formed the building blocks for a unified narrative of the Great Fall. 2. The Watchers, the earliest detailed fall narrative. The earliest fully developed story of angels becoming demons appears in the Book of Enoch, a Jewish text from around 200 to 100 BCE. 1. The Descent on Mount Hermon. According to Enoch, a group of 200 angels, known as the Watchers, Grigori, descended from heaven under the leadership of Senjaza. Their purpose was to watch over humanity, but they became infatuated with human women. They swore an oath to carry out their forbidden desire, knowing it was a transgression that would change the cosmic order. 2. Corruption of humanity. After taking wives among humans, the Watchers fathered the Nephilim, gigantic beings whose immense strength and violence corrupted the earth. The Watchers also taught humanity forbidden knowledge, sorcery, weapon making, astrology, beautification techniques, magical arts. These teachings disrupted the natural relationship between humans and the divine, accelerating moral decay. 3. Divine judgment. God sent the archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, to confront the rebellion. The Watchers were bound and imprisoned in darkness until the final judgment, while their giant offspring were destroyed by the flood. Their spirits, unable to return to heaven, became wandering demons that afflict humanity. The Enochian narrative is the direct ancestor of later stories about the Great Fall and provides the first coherent description of angels becoming demons through sin. 3. Lucifer's rebellion, the most influential version. The most famous version of the Great Fall centers on Lucifer, the light-bearer who became Satan. However, his story developed gradually and was not fully formed until late antiquity. 1. The Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28 connection. These passages were originally criticisms of human kings, Babylon and Tyre. They used celestial imagery to mock the king's arrogance. "You have fallen from heaven, O shining one." Later readers understood these metaphors literally, interpreting them as references to a fallen angel. The name Helel ben Shahar, Shining One, Son of Dawn, was translated into Latin as Lucifer, meaning light-bringer. Over time, Lucifer became identified with Satan, transforming a metaphor into a cosmic narrative of rebellion. 2. The pride motif. Church fathers like Origen and Tertullian argued that Lucifer fell because of pride. Once the greatest of angels, he desired a throne equal to God. His fall was not caused by lust, like the Watchers, but by a spiritual rebellion against divine authority. According to this interpretation, a third of the angels followed him, based on Revelation 12, though the passage is symbolic. These followers became demons, their luminous nature darkened. 3. Christian synthesis. By the medieval period, theology had merged the Watcher myth with the Lucifer narrative into a single cosmology. Lucifer was the original rebel. The Watchers were part of his domain. Demons were either fallen angels or spirits of the Nephilim. This synthesized version became the foundation of Western demonology. 4. The fall as cosmic war. Several traditions portray the Great Fall not as a sudden act of disobedience but as a celestial war. 1. Revelation 12 and the Dragon. In the book of Revelation, a great red dragon, symbolic of Satan, wages war in heaven. Michael and his angels defeat the dragon, casting him and his followers to earth. Although symbolic, this passage became a central image of angelic rebellion. 2. Greek and Roman parallels. Greek mythology includes battles between gods, such as the Titanomachy, where the Olympians overthrow the Titans. Although these are not angelic beings, the idea of divine rebellion influenced later Christian thinkers, especially through the works of early philosophers who tried to unify pagan thought with biblical ideas. 3. Cosmic dualism. Many cultures believed that celestial rebellion created the division between good and evil. In Christianity, this concept served to explain suffering and moral corruption. Demons became the agents of chaos, opposed to God's order. What makes an angel fall? Theologically, the Great Fall raises the question, how can perfect beings fall? Multiple traditions offer different explanations. 1. Free will. Most interpretations emphasize free will. Angels were created with the ability to choose between obedience and disobedience. The fall demonstrates that even heavenly beings are not immune to temptation or pride. 2. Desire. In Enochic tradition, desire for human women led to corruption. This symbolizes the idea that heavenly beings sought earthly pleasures, abandoning their divine role. 3. Pride and ambition. The Lucifer tradition teaches that spiritual pride is the ultimate sin. Lucifer desired equality with God, rejecting his place in the cosmic hierarchy. 4. Rebellion against divine order. The fall can also be seen as a refusal to accept divine authority. The rebels rejected the purpose for which they were created, attempting to rewrite the structure of the universe. 6. Transformation, from angels to demons. What actually changes when an angel becomes a demon? Various traditions offer symbolic or theological explanations. 1. Loss of light. Angels were seen as beings of radiant light. In falling, their luminosity was extinguished or corrupted. Demons thus became creatures of darkness, their forms twisted by sin. 2. Separation from God. Angels derive their power from proximity to God. Once exiled, they lose that source of grace. Although still powerful, their abilities become corrupted, directed toward deception or destruction. 3. Change of purpose. Where angels serve the divine will, demons oppose it. Their mission becomes the spread of chaos, temptation, and suffering. 4. Eternal exile. Many traditions describe fallen angels as imprisoned in dark realms, sometimes called Sheol, the abyss, Tartarus, Hell. Their exile symbolizes the broken relationship between them and the divine. 7. The fall in literature and art. The Great Fall has inspired some of the most influential works of Western culture. 1. John Milton's Paradise Lost. Milton's portrayal of Satan as a tragic, rebellious figure profoundly shaped modern imagination. His Satan is charismatic, articulate, and defiant. The poem dramatizes the celestial war, the fall of Adam and Eve, and the complex psychology of fallen angels. 2. Dante's Inferno. Dante depicts Satan as frozen in the center of hell, eternally trapped in ice, symbolizing the coldness and isolation of sin. His fall deformed his once beautiful form into a monstrous figure. 3. Medieval art. Medieval artists commonly portrayed fallen angels as grotesque, horned, and animalistic. Their transformation visually represented their moral corruption. 8. Symbolic meaning of the Great Fall. Beyond mythology, the story carries deep symbolic significance. 1. The nature of evil. The Great Fall provides an explanation for the origin of evil. It is the result of a will that chooses rebellion over harmony. 2. The dangers of pride. The story warns against ambition that rejects rightful order. It portrays pride as the root of spiritual downfall. 3. The fragility of perfection. Even beings made of divine light can fall. This teaches that moral integrity requires continuous choice, not static perfection. 4. The importance of boundaries. The Watchers crossed boundaries between heaven and earth, symbolizing the consequences of violating divine or natural limits. 9. Influence on modern demonology. Modern beliefs about demons owe much to the Great Fall narrative. 1. Hierarchies of hell. Texts like the Pseudomonarchia Daemonum and Ars Goetia describe complex hierarchies of fallen angels, echoing their original celestial ranks. 2. Exorcism traditions. Christian exorcism rituals assume demons were once angels who rejected God and now attempt to lead humans astray. 3. Popular culture. Films, novels, and games frequently depict demons as former angels. The idea remains compelling because it combines tragedy, rebellion, and mystery. Why the Great Fall still fascinates us. The narrative endures for several reasons. It dramatizes the tension between freedom and obedience. It explores the mystery of how good can become evil. It reflects human struggles with temptation, pride, and rebellion. It provides a cosmic explanation for suffering and disorder. It portrays the heavens as dynamic, dramatic, and full of conflict, not sterile perfection. Ultimately, the story resonates because it mirrors the human condition, beings made for greatness who struggle with the allure of rebellion. The Great Fall is more than a myth, it is a lens through which cultures have interpreted the nature of evil, free will, and cosmic order. From the Watchers of Enoch to the prideful Lucifer, the transformation of angels into demons reflects humanity's deepest questions about rebellion, corruption, and the fragile line between light and darkness. These stories continue to shape religious thought, art, literature, and popular culture, carrying with them powerful symbolism about the consequences of defiance and the tragic beauty of beings who fell from the highest heavens into the deepest abyss. And that brings us to the end of the Great Fall, when angels became demons. From celestial glory to eternal darkness, their story reminds us how quickly light can become shadow, and how ancient myths continue to shape our understanding of good, evil, and the fragile balance in between. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the origins of fallen angels, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss our next journey into hidden history and myth. Share your thoughts in the comments. What part of their fall intrigued you most? Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.